last thing I want to wrap up on, if you're okay with it,
Sure.
is to talk about from 5 to 500.
Yeah.
I think it's an important story. I wanted to get the main content out because it's part about how we met. But are you okay sharing that story about what you went through and going from benching 5 pounds to 500 pounds within a year?
Yeah, absolutely. That's maybe an ornery, pretty much, but I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. So I found out that I had a brain tumor and a cyst about the size of my hand. The cyst was about the size of my hand. Brain tumor started out the size of a the size of a gobstopper. Dating myself there, but then ended up growing to the size of a Titleist, a golf ball, and those had to come out. So I had the surgery, and afterwards, I was not given a protocol to get myself right. I was very surprised that this establishment that I went to, which was phenomenal, that there wasn't really a protocol to wellness, but understanding that it's person to person dependent of how it's going to happen. I was told that my road to recovery was going to be mapped and charted out by myself. And I'm going, that's an interesting thing to say, and hoping that somebody at least knows a little bit about training. I was in a very fortunate position that I knew a little bit, and I had one person, Chris Ullum, what's up, dude? I had him that was willing to work with me, and that goes back to the strength coach. One strength coach that was willing to put it all out there because nobody wanted to touch me. Because dude, you just had your freaking head cut open. What are we gonna do? So I was sitting in the bed after surgery, and they told me that there was no recovery and I was going to do it myself. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go back to the basics. I'm going to start doing flutter kicks in the bed. Doctors are looking at me like I'm weird. Now I find a recovery band that's in the room, and I'm doing, tricep extensions and curls and legs and everything. I'd figured out what I needed to do in order to get out of ICU as fast as I possibly could and get back on the road. Ended up being about 5 days post training. And I said, well, what are my limitations? What can and can't I do? And they go, well, you can do a consistent walk for about 5 to 10 minutes. You can do that 3 times a day. And then you can only pick up 5 pounds in each hand. And I went, oh, okay. All right. No worries. So I'll go out and, do some walks after I eat. And then I'll go down to the hotel gym and see where I was at. Cause I was stuck in a hotel probably for 2 weeks. And, I went down to their gym, and they had the little 5-pound weights, and I had to sit at an incline because of the stuff that they'd done in my head. I had to stay at a 30-degree incline. I had to sleep in, so I was doing incline bench, and I took the 5 pounds and I just started pushing. And I go, I wonder what it's going to take before this really gets bad. How far can I push it? And I had remembered that I had asked the doctor what my limitations were. And he goes, well, if you hear a pop or feel a pop, that's bad. And I'm going, so there's nothing leading up to said pop that I'm going to know? And he goes, you'll figure it out. Okay. All right. Different for everybody. Got it. So I started doing reps, and I started feeling this pressure build up in my head. And to the point to where I was just like, it felt like somebody was inflating a balloon inside of my brain. And I'm going, okay, I'm going to let that be the guide, and we'll see what's up. So I came back the next day. I put the weights down, came back the next day and did it again. I was able to get a few more reps, and I went, now we've got progress. Okay, now I know what to do. And then this little voice in my head goes, you need a challenge. I got something for you. I went, okay, let's do this. So that's when I came up with the idea. I said, all right, within 1 year, I'm going to go from benching 5 pounds to 500 pounds. And everything is going to lead towards that. Was it a silly goal? I don't know. I don't care. It worked for me, man. And it was day 5. I got a picture of me doing the 5 pounds overhead. And then it took 362 days, I believe is what it was. And I benched 500 pounds. And I used that idea of just follow the pressure. And that's all I was doing, was chasing the pressure. Because the first mini goal was get back to the shape that I was in going into surgery, because I got in I went full all in, going into going in, because I know that the better shape that you go into any surgery, the faster it is that you're going to heal. And then I wrote down every single day what it is. I called it my road to strength. Hey, this is what I did. These are the exercises. This is the supplements that I was taking. How the progression, whenever I had a mess up or something like that, I wrote it down and said, okay, this happened this day, dialed it back, went to doing this, and this is how we changed it. And it ended up taking 14 weeks and 2 days to get back to where I was before surgery in shape wise. I had this book. I had no idea what to do with it. I gave it to some of our folks and they were like, that's cool, man. Awesome. I'm like, you guys, I mean, I don't want to like medical journal or something, but it's like, this is a road. This is a possibility, a human capability of what you can do. Do you guys want this as a metric? Oh, you go ahead and keep that. Cool. So, go to a couple of medical establishments. Hey, you guys interested in this? Go back to my surgeon. Hey, I wrote everything down. Oh, that's great. Okay. They care about getting the brain out. All right, fine. Fixing the brain. I get it. But nobody seemed interested in wanting to learn from it. And that's what was funny, because one person, this guy I know named Tom Barry, said, show it to me. I want it. And I sent it to you, and
here we are. Yeah. It baffles me in one sense when we first came here that no one wants to see it, but then you start to understand everyone's in their little bubble.
Yeah.
A surgeon wants to do the best cutting on you, and you want that surgeon to be really good at cutting.
Right.
You don't really want that surgeon to be really good at rehab. And then comes to people who do rehab, not to give them an excuse, but they're so petrified of being sued.
Yeah.
The same with the strength coaches. Like, you're petrified if someone gets injured, they come to you, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Especially
with the brain. Yeah. It's weird, man. A lot of people were like, I'm not touching you.
Does a lot.
Okay.
They're probably like, you need what you got, buddy. Don't want to,
yeah, I know.
don't want to screw up the rest.
You're going to be fine.